Thirsty and 30.
Hi, Bea. So, hi, Thirsty friends. I am welcome to season 2 of Thirsty and 30, a blinding the blind chat show on Smarter Love.
Hi, Shari. Good evening. And I'm Bea. So, guys, we made the mistakes before so that you guys don't actually have to. So, we've got you, ladies and gentlemen. We are your researchers, but tonight's a bit different, right?
Yeah,
Just
it's
a bit.
not much about love, but it's an important topic nonetheless. So, hello to our usual listeners. Hello, Mike. What's up?
Yeah. And
Anybody
for
want to
people
say hi
that
to?
Yeah, just people jump in because this is kind of like a recording, but live session as a way. I think that's important. Shari, tonight I am really looking forward to talking about equality because I think since you and I both went to an all girls private girls school, Catholic school, and I think gender roles and certain stereotypes have been given to us or taught to us. So this tonight's a bit different. It's not really love and dating. It's really in light of a recent campaign made by Canon around July 14 when they released Crusaders of Light campaign. And it made a lot of people's blood boil or kind of dampen the topic on equality because they released like an all male ambassador lineup, about 11 male. And I guess every time we have this show is that we have somewhat a theory. So our theory is equality is not picture perfect, but it's really worth aiming for that perfect shot. Because like, look at the news. We just got a gold medal by a woman, Heidelin Diaz, in the Tokyo 2021 Olympics. So
Exactly. First gold medal of the
yeah.
Philippines by a woman. And then we have one coming up. We're rooting for Nesty Petecchio, featherweight boxer. She's sure bronze. So technically, it's going to be the first time that we were like multi-medaled winners in the Olympics. So I'm looking forward to that. So tonight, Bea, our guests today are 3 amazing photographers and creatives. We have Andrea Beldua, who shoots a lot of celebrities from Julia Barreto, Sarah Labati, celebrities like me feeling it. Joke lang. We also have
You go row that boat in, Shari.
we also have Regine David. We went to school with Regine David. She's a friend of ours. She is a photographer as well, a casting director. She is prolific for her work with amazing brands like Balenciaga and Calvin Klein and many more international magazines as well. And we have Je Villaroman, who is also a photographer and a PR consultant working with celebrities like Hart, Rachel Peters, and a lot more. So let's welcome our guests. Here's
Yes.
Andrea, here's Jet, and here's Regine. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
They
Thanks
look
for
fat.
having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
I know.
you.
You're so cool.
It's like a mini reunion for us.
Yes,
Para
it's
naman
kind of
ako-
always like a party for us, right, Cherry?
Mhm.
A little reunion.
Exactly.
So when we have guests over, we do a little bit of icebreaker. And before we jump into kind of a very serious topic, we'll just get to know you in our usual thirsty and 30 self. So you have worked with a lot of celebrities. I have 2 questions. Number 1, paano ba maging patok? Like, how do you have that amazing, I don't know,
X Factor.
Yan, yan, yan.
Hmm.
Yung-
Oh my God, ang hirap.
Go, Andrew. Yeah.
Hindi,
Go
si
na.
Regine daw yung uno. Alam niya daw yung sagot.
Wait, what is the question exactly?
How do you have that
do
X factor?
Oo,
You
how
guys
do you
think-
look like pagkagising mo sa umaga? How do you like, bam, I know where my light is. Naman mga
Yeah.
ganun.
Oh my God, I never know where my light is.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I like
Okay,
that.
okay yan.
You face the window. The window is your best friend.
That is
Okay.
true.
Okay, I have a second icebreaker. We are a show about love and dating. Before we talk about equality, I want to know what is your go-to, mahirap rin to, landi move? Unless expert kayo sa
Ay,
landi.
Let's start with Andrea. Let's start. What's your go-to
wala.
landi move?
Ang tagal na eh. Ilang buwan na tayo naka-lockdown. Ang taon na. Um,
Hirap.
Ang hirap.
Sige, Regine, ikaw muna. You
Parang
have a
wala akong
go-to
moves. Malandi lang talaga ako. Feeling ko, like,
blanket
yung
lang.
may go-getter vibe ka lang. Yung parang, alam mo yun?
Laban
I
lang.
love
Laban.
that.
Laban lang.
Ikaw, Je, go-to landi move.
Go to landi
Flirting move.
Hmm.
My God.
Hirap.
Just flash your cheekbones, yun yung landi move mo. Like, bam.
Coffee? You want coffee? Coffee is the way to anyone's heart.
I like what you say, but parang coffee? Like,
Uh-uh.
yeah.
Parang
Magaya.
innocent. Ako, gusto ko yan. Ikaw, Regine, go-to landi move.
I don't know how to flirt. But
Oh,
normally, yeah, you know what? I don't know. I just tell somebody I like them. Direct.
okay.
Very direct.
Straight to the point.
He
Okay
is
yan.
direct. He is straight to the point.
Okay tayo.
Okay.
No more pasikot-sikot. Okay, speaking of no more pasikot-sikot, guys, let's dive right in here. What was your initial reaction to the all-male lineup of Canon Crusaders of Light campaign?
Ooh.
Like when you saw it come out, what's the first thing that popped into your head?
Actually, when they weren't parang releasing all of the ambassadors pa, a friend of mine, a photographer also, si Sonny Thakur, he sent me, and then he was like, let's see kung puro all guys nga mukhang sausage fest nga. And I was like, no way. But also parang, I'm not surprised. Ewan ko, parang I know it's nakakagalit, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
wonder why.
I
Why
wasn't
are you not
surprised.
surprised? You're not surprised either. Okay.
See,
Yeah.
how about you, Jet?
My first reaction was like, wait, why is there a white guy amongst all of this? Like,
Yes, I saw that too.
naubusan pa tayo ng Filipino photographers. Then I was like, oh wait, they're all guys. And like what Andy said, not a surprise. They also came out with a campaign way back pa. It was like Sarah Black was literally the only woman in the roster. Literally the only woman amongst all of those guys. So knowing what I knew from before, I was like, oh wow, they're doing it again. Baka naman they'll show a female photographer here. But then from the silhouettes, they all look like guys. So
Yeah.
from kahit even if you take out the sensor, like the blur, it's still a male silhouette.
See, so what's interesting? Yeah, go ahead, Regine.
Yeah, I was just saying, my friends and I were playing a guessing game. If it was a woman or a hand. Diba? Kasi the hands were like this. So kala namin neckline. Yun pala no lalaki. Anyway.
So what's interesting about this, it's not surprising that there were no women, which I guess is something that you ask why. Why isn't it surprising? So Bea and I, we always have a 3-parter on our show to unpack our topic. So today we'll start with part 1 is our day-to-day lives, like how do we tackle inequality or equality in our day-to-day lives, professional lives, and how do we end this cycle of inequality. So we'll start with day-to-day. So our first question is, what personal experience do you have in your day-to-day life that can be overlooked by most to be sexist?
Ooh. Ako meron. Hindi ako kasi masyadong ma-post sa IG stories ng day-to-day activities ko other than when I'm in a shoot. And lalo na nung lockdown, I was super into coffee. I was super into making coffee, ganyan. And parang I don't know, kasi I think a lot of my friends, we discussed this, and parang napagkwentuhan namin na ang daming mansplainer sa Instagram. As in, parang minsan, like, I would story about on me making coffee with my AeroPress. Tapos ang daming biglang guys na magdi-DM, oh, ba't walang timer? Oh, ba't ganito, ganyan? Oh, ano yung gamit mong kettle? Or you should try this, ganyan. Tas, or parang, oh, have you watched James Hoffman sa YouTube? Blah, blah, blah. He gives a lot of great ideas. Tas parang, tinatatong ko ba? Eh, paano kung gusto ko gawin magkape? Ayoko kainin na eh. Ikaw ba iinom? And parang, and my friend also, parang I remember she tweeted about getting an air fryer. And then parang biglang may isang guy na parang nagtitweet sa kanya na, ba't hindi turbo broiler yung binili mo? So, parang, gusto niya ng air fryer. Parang nakakasal ako. And I used to also not post about super tech stuff like my lights, ganyan.
Yeah.
Kasi parang ang dami lang gumaganon. And you know, I really appreciate naman when I'm asking for help and, you know, friends, like, you know, parang help me also, parang with giving advice, ganyan. Pero minsan parang, I just feel like I can't enjoy things because I always feel like I'm not good at it enough like some of these guys are, or I don't know enough. I don't know. I know it's like mababaw, but it's just like something I've noticed and has actively stopped me from sharing what I
think
love.
sometimes you feel the motivation behind the help or the motivation behind the us like giving you their opinions, right? Iba siya. It's more of like, I know better, so do this. What do you guys think, Regine and Je?
But you know what, Andy? It's super not mababaw. Don't worry about it.
Not at
Because
all.
hindi talaga siya mababaw. Because I can't really, like, when you ask me, like, oh, what are the sexist stuff that you experience? You know, I will be, what's this term? Acknowledging my privilege of being a biological man, and I don't usually get stuff like that. And you know, it's super not mababaw because it's really a lot of guys talaga. Even I grew up in an all boys school, and even towards, you know, people like me when I was still young, they would always just like, oh, it's always like this. It stems from our dads, our titos,
Yes.
diba?
Yeah.
From our titos. Then oh, you should tell your sister to do this, or you should tell your younger cousin to do that, ganito dapat yun, ganito ganyan. And it just, I guess, it passes on to other people. Then these guys aren't super aware na parang they're mansplaining they're already mansplaining. And thankfully for me, at least, and a couple of my male friends also who are very aware of stuff like that, wala, very careful lang. But then definitely hindi mababaw yan, Andy, for sure.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How about you, Regine?
Hard to say because I mentioned it then before na parang are there any like specific things that are sexist? I don't necessarily see it towards me because generally I'm relatively private online. Like you see, it's majority of my work. I don't show my face. I don't show a lot of it as of now. And a lot of the times I think I get very triggered by the idea of being mislabeled, I think, in a lot of things. I don't necessarily like being called a woman photographer or a female photographer because why do we need to have the signifier? I think I've been talking about this for a while now. Kasi parang, why, parang, for example, when you think of, I was just in this group chat and the conversation was like, let's think of like, we call this, which directors do we like? And then it was like a list of names, and then they said, pag female director, let's have this person. Sabi ko, bakit siya may quantifier? Hindi naman siya, I mean, she's in the same level. She's in the same category. So why is there that, we don't have to gender photography. You don't have to gender styling. There's no, I don't think it's as necessary. And it kind of like, I don't think we need this kind of categorization. I understand that there is that importance for recognition because we're not there yet. But eventually, I would like to move away from this and just have it as talented photographers, talented casting directors, talented, etc., without even using gender. It's like the least important thing, I think, when it comes to work, diba? So that's my take.
I wonder if it's something like, I used to think when they say that it's to really celebrate women, but now it's like, okay, well, we start to say it with all the time, and it doesn't make sense after a while. And I wonder with you and your families and friends, are there certain gender roles in the Philippine culture that really annoy you? That when you hear it, like, oh my God, parang, alam mo yun, mag-walk out ka na. You know, mag-walk out. But surely something's come up where, you know,
Protect.
like,
You gotta protect. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so many. You can't be overweight, you can't dye your hair, you can't be outspoken, you can't speak about politics. All of these things, you will not have a boyfriend, you will not get married, you'll not like, did I want that?
Totoo.
I mean, we are not imposing these rules on men. Why are you imposing it on women? Where are these rules coming from? For me, that is the weird gender situation.
Andrea, you say that kababae mong tao. I hate that line.
I
Kababae
get
mong tao,
that.
kaya ka magsalita. Kababae mong tao, nagmumura ka. I was like, bakit bawal? Like,
Diba? Sa kayo, or pag nagmumura, parang pag may artista na nagmumura or something, sabihin nila, ay, kababaeng tao, nagmumura. Pero bakit pag lalaki pwede magmura? Bakit si Duterte nagmumura?
Exactly.
Wala naman nagsasabi nun sa kanya.
I know, right?
yeah.
I know.
Just branding. My God, Duterte. Isa pa yan. We can have a full episode on just him.
Let's not get into it today.
I know. Baka
Yeah, not today. Not today.
It's a 10-hour episode.
We might not finish this.
Exactly. So, I mean, those are things that are annoying, and you hear like stereotypes that women are supposed to be dainty, or the stereotypes that men are supposed to be always strong. So, what are stereotypes that you think shouldn't be existing anymore? Like, that take you off now in 2021. Na parang, why is this still a thing that you've experienced?
Oh, I have one. It's basically like when like with like a same sex relationships, like who's the guy, who's the girl, who wears the pants? Or basically in general in life, who wears the pants? Who needs to know who wears the pants? Why do we need to know?
Oh my God, I get that a lot na parang na I'm always parang feeling nila lagi na ay parang masyado kong inaano yung boyfriend ko. Parang ganon na I'm too outspoken. Gets?
Yeah. But yeah, as when you said, like my sister said, my sister's dating a girl, and that they hate that when they ask, like, sino yung guy sa relationship? It's like, why does there have to be a male energy in the relationship? Why can't we be two girls in love? It really makes
why are you imposing these heteronormative norms into a couple who is clearly deviating away from the heteronormative norm?
Exactly.
So, who wears the pants? Who pays for this? Do you pay for on the
laging gano'n. I used to get that a lot also na parang they would always ask, sino nagbayad nung date? Binibilan ka ba niya ng ganito? Stuff like that. Diba? Na parang, paano kung pareho kaming may pera and gusto namin mag-share? Bakit gano'n?
Ano yung motivation behind culture lang? Is it just tradition or like the old school thinking?
I think that's a very Filipino mindset pa rin. It's like it's still being passed down. Kasi imagine mo, these questions are based on how people perceive relationships to begin with. But even straight relationships, who wears the pants? Who pays for things? It's now relatively equal. So why are we still having these questions? I can understand if you have the lack of access of education for asking these questions, pero I don't think we're there anymore. I think it's on you na, diba?
Yeah, it's all titas and titos and like
it's basically everyone in those Viber groups.
Yung mga chainmail Viber group peeps, yes.
Mga chainmail,
Ivermectin pa more.
It's either ivermectin or stereotypes. Yun ang pinag-uusapan. Or PM is the key. But I'm
Yep.
curious, we are a love and relationship show. And I wonder if you've ever experienced in dating these annoying experiences that stereotype your gender. So for example, myself, every time I say I'm talking to someone I'm dating and then I bring up that I work around food, they immediately say wife material or like wifey. I was like, sandali lang, di kita lulutuan araw-araw. And that notion of like someone thinking that you're gonna cook for them for
And
the rest of their life. Yeah.
Also, it's more of I may like to cook, but it's because I want to cook, not because you want me to cook for you. That's the annoying part. I mean, I love cooking, but the assumption that I'm gonna cook because I'm gonna be your housewife, no. Kasi gusto ko kumain, gusto ko magluto. That's it. But okay, I
Have you ever
digress.
experienced that? Like, let's say, Regine, someone you've dated that just like completely stepped crossed the line.
Let's get back to that, Andrea. I have to think.
Well, my family really annoys me so much about that na hindi ako marunong magluto kasi. And they always ask, paano pag nag-asawa ka? Diba? Parang, dati naman wala naman siyang asawang pinagluluto siya. Bakit bigla ba siyang mamamatay ngayon? Pag mamamatay ba siya sa gutom? Yeah, and they literally always apologize to whoever I'm dating na hindi ako marunong magluto.
Ay, grabe.
Oo,
That's embarrassing.
as in front of me, na they really like, wala na parang, hindi yan marunong kasi, pagpasensyahan mo na, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so paano kayo? Yung ganon. Or I think another really hassle stereotype is, na napansin ko, is always how girls are portrayed as psycho. Like,
Who's giving her
doing my
sprinkles?
right, doing my breakup or something, it's always like, kasi baliw yung babae or psycho kasi siya or something. But it's never the guy's fault.
Then never, even when you hear stories about a guy cheating on a girl, it's because she's nagkulang somewhere. Eh.
Oo,
That's
or
why
parang
he did.
grabe, sobrang ano siya kasi, possessive siya kasi, or sobrang ganito siya kasi. And always, and I don't know, it's so annoying. And parang
Yeah.
I'm always tuloy so afraid before, like, to be, parang minsan magtatanong lang ako kung nasan yung boyfriend ko noon, parang kung pauwi na ba siya, safe ba siya, but I can't because parang napaparanoid na ako na if his friends would think na I'm being too,
Clingy.
too much, too clingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oo nga, that is something. That's nakakapikon. How about you, Je? Do you have had any experience na something similar?
Not so much because I'm not much of a dater before.
Mm-mm.
Even until now, though, who's dating now? Unless
I
you're
know.
virtual or super patago. I think let's bring back our dating lives, please.
But I think there was this one time na parang college. Definitely, it was in college, like maybe 6-7 years ago. This person knew that I wanted to be in an advertising agency, and basically he just put me in a box. Na this is how do I put that? Like basically just put me in a box where okay, put me in a box, and the only thing what he mentioned, what he was trying to say is that you can only do copywriting or magaling mag-Photoshop ka lang for the rest of your life and stuff like that. This was pre-photography pa. Parang hang a Photoshop, can you Photoshop this? Can you Photoshop that? So it was just really like me on Photoshop and everything that this person wanted to like have it fixed. I think that's
Wow. Nakakaasar yan na. Sana hindi How about you, Regine?
Okay, teka. Tatalog tatagalugin ko to even if hindi ako marunong magtagalog na oh my god, I'm struggling. See? Kasi ayoko na marinig na to.
Oh, okay, go,
okay,
go,
sige.
go,
Okay,
go.
okay.
Sige, go.
Sige, Tagalog tayo lahat.
What I'm gonna say is, sometimes I think with dating, internationally, there might be some cultural differences where you might not see eye to eye in certain things, and for me, that's very frustrating. Like, kasi yung jowa ko, taga isang, this is really embarrassing, but
Go
medyo
lang.
parang mas patriarchal kasi yung
Lahi niya.
yung lahi niya. Kaya kapag nagko-complain ako tungkol sa nangyayari dito na parang hindi ako happy, parang siya bakit bakit mo gustong ibahin yung mundo, wala ka namang magagawa. At ako parang pero kasi mundo ko to eh. Alam mo yun? And many more things, but there are a lot of like language barriers that might come across as like they mean well, but it could be perceived as sexist. So I think for me, that's my situation.
Okay. Pero, di naman, galing mo as in you were able to say it.
Sorry guys, I was in basic Filipino. I really struggled. I am so sorry.
No, it's
pasok
okay.
naman.
But also
Pwede.
trying to make sure that hindi marinig ng iba, diba? Yun ang nagpapabagal minsan ng Tagalog. But okay, so we'll go into the professional side. And I think the first thing we want to ask is, in terms of PR, what was Canon thinking about this? Do you think they just completely just lapsed even looking at the picture? I mean, I know how life gets busy, but was this intentional? Was it a lapse or stupidity? Or I guess the whole thing. What do you think about it?
So I got asked this question so many times, like, what do you think? PR wise, like, what's this? Like, how can you fix this and stuff like that? Basically, honestly, like, if this feels, kasi from how I see it, this feels like an internal marketing stint. I don't think there was any action from an ad agency or a PR agency, because any decent PR agency or a decent person who is in the field of PR would definitely see the red flag with an all-male roster. And okay, thinking client side, Canon side, I'm pretty sure they thought na parang, these are the people that we've been working for years, and we'll tap them again for this campaign. Let's do it. Blah blah blah. Okay, fine. Okay, well and done. Do what you gotta do. And from their end, they probably didn't see anything wrong with it. But that is where people who work in that's why you get people not from your organization to take a look at whatever it is you're trying to push out. So maybe have someone else check it, or have someone consult for you and stuff like that. And what were they thinking? They probably thought it was normal, and that is the danger with people who make decisions who make decisions. A like-minded organization makes decisions internally, so it is an internal decision, I feel. And what made it worse was their response to the outcry. So so what made it way worse, if honestly, coming from a PR perspective, if they had not did what they did to respond to this outcry, it wouldn't be as big as now, honestly, because they could have handled it better. They could have basically not put lady shooters on. Oh my god, it's like it is 2021, guys, and what is this UA? What is this? I told my friend Kim, Ebol, who I've been talking to the moment it started, like the moment it blew up.
Oh my god, same.
Yeah, so Kim and I were just like, "Hi Kim, have fun
Hi
in
Kim, I
LA.
hope you're watching.
Love you."
Hello. Hi Kim.
So Kim is an amazing videographer and a photographer. Works she's worked with Canon a lot, and we've been talking about it ever since it blew up, and we were just like, ano to? Bakit lady shooters? Ano to UAAP? Like
Oh my
lady.
god.
We were just like, ano to DLSU lady spikers? And I was just
Oh.
like, why do they have to? And how they reached out to their potential female list. It was just like they really made it seem that parang they were an afterthought. Na parang, oh
Yeah.
my god,
Send na agad ng profile picture.
correct.
Yeah.
Send
Diba?
it.
By
What time did
next
they send it? They
11.
sent that message at what,
10
4
something.
p.m.
Yeah, parang
Around,
ganun. Later pa nga ata.
around late in the day, and they wanted
Yeah.
the profile picture up by 1 p.m. the next day. What
The
is
next
this?
day.
Like, I was just like,
Afterthought.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
super an afterthought. They didn't even like, okay, that's one strike. And the second strike was this.
Walang bayad.
Walang bayad. so, so it was just like, oh, there's no compensation. And they really worded the word exposure in, they super sugar coated the word exposure. Na parang, oh, with future workshops and like this and like that. And I'm just like, guys.
So yung bayad is
Wait.
more work. Ang labo.
Wait lang.
Yeah.
I want to clarify because I didn't understand it completely. I read it as they will be compensated when they do the workshops, or they will be compensated with workshops.
I think with
That's-
workshops. Like it's
That's
a
insane.
conditional
That's
thing. Yeah,
ridiculous. I'm sorry.
it's like when you get workshops, you'll get paid, or if you don't, like if you get workshops, or if we tap you for this one, it was super sugar coated. It was like,
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it's a shitty ass deal. So, Je, what would you have done, or what should they have done to remedy the situation instead of doing the bullshit that they did?
they should have killed it. They should have killed it when they in its sleep. They should have retracted everything in its sleep, girl. So if I were the PR of Canon, hi Canon, if you're listening, this is some pro bono advice, but the next one y'all gotta pay me. So, so
Yes.
what they should have done was the moment that they found out na parang they were asking like, oh, where are the female photographers? Bakit puro lalaki dito? It's such a freaking sausage fest. From there, they should have seen na parang, oh, there's something brewing. We have to remedy this. Like, oo nga, mali tayo. Or basically like realize na they're wrong na, oh shit. Oh guys, we didn't realize. I'm so sorry. So either go along with your roster, either keep your male roster. In that process, why don't you just? They should have gotten an equal number of female photographers also, and not call them lady shooters. They just call them amazing photographers. They are shooters of light. They are all shooters. Hey guys.
Who uses the word lady nowadays?
Lady shooters.
I propose they change their name to like gentleman something.
Gentleman
I mean,
shooters.
yeah, like
Gentleman.
let's if you want to gender it, go ahead, but it
Yeah.
has to be an equal situation.
Like
Oh.
like you want to go through the gender. Why don't you call them? Oh, this is the
Tapos
Male.
comment tayo, wow, such great gentleman shooters.
such great gentleman shooters. So
So you're saying after that thing with their what is it again? Their what do they call it? Their campaign? The all black.
Crusaders
That's
of Light.
the Crusaders.
Crusaders.
That's when they brought out that lady shooters when people were reacting na.
They didn't bring it out. They were requesting. They were trying to message people behind the scenes
Wow.
to be part of.
Oh wow!
Okay. The invite was to specific photographers to submit their profile pictures. I don't know. I think some of them have not even had a relationship with Canon before.
Yeah.
And the frustrating part is that if you look at all of the trash talk on Facebook, they were saying that it's a different categories, so they don't get paid. And I said like that defeats the purpose of us saying that there are no women in this
Yeah.
category. You know, like on every we all have to agree that their take of saying, you know, parang sort of saying, yeah, you know, you're right. Let's take in more women, or let's have a more diverse platform. They literally said, you guys are not deserving, and there are no women photographer of our caliber. So ingit lang kayo.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not even, I am quoting.
Yeah.
I'm quoting actual statements made by
That's
specific Canon ambassadors and their head of, I
marketing.
don't know what their is it marketing ba that
Marketing.
said that?
Yeah, that guy.
Wow. Whoever you are, you're
I
a
think what's
douche.
I think what's really shocking about this debacle of what happened is the apology. I found it so condescending to read the paragraph. We appreciate learning from your voices in the community. We're listening. Our activities have just kickstarted, and based on your valuable feedback, we will enhance your experience with us.
Yeah.
That is a lesson in really poor apology, and I don't know.
It's a statement.
It wasn't an
It's-
apology.
That wasn't
Yeah,
at all.
I was
At 1
shocked.
p.m. 1 a.m. Sorry.
Yeah,
1
and I
p.m.
Yeah, they
It was
dropped it
1
at 1 a.m.
Y'all thought that we were asleep? Nope.
Honey.
Wala nga natutulog
We're in
din.
Party.
lockdown. We have so much time. We're gonna see it all.
I know.
Y'all
and
thought?
it's you know what's crazy? I'm not obviously from your industry, but it's still up. It's still up on their social media.
Parang
And-
walang nangyari eh. Is that the strategy? Parang nothing happened. They're gonna forget about it because
I don't think they care.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's also the
If you
point.
read the platforms, like Photo Market Philippines, Petapixel, etc., a lot of these people really think that we are snowflakes. They really think that there's nothing wrong with the roster, and yet we never said that the roster was wrong. We just said, "Hey, let's have more voices."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I appreciate that they're not ageist. I appreciate that that they have brand loyalty. But
Yeah.
what is the point of an ambassadorship if they can't even? They are not. They Can you imagine having an ambassador that really said that you guys are a demographic, that misogyny
I'm gonna
is
say his
for
name,
the
Edwin
minds of a few?
Martinez.
It's
Edwin
just
Martinez.
it makes me feel really disappointed to see that an ambassador would rather shun maybe a majority of their market rather
And
than
call us a demographic.
Yeah.
it's very. We never called out on their quality of work, and yet they were saying that there are no women of quality that deserve to be on the platform.
And now we need to prove ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Be part of
annoying.
that.
What did they do to prove themselves? I
I mean, maybe they had a process, but who was approving? I mean,
Yeah.
what are the metrics?
Why did they already assume that we didn't prove ourselves? That the other women didn't prove themselves? I don't
There's
understand.
that assumption that women is already that they're already considered women and queer the queer community is considered a diversity quota instead of actual talent, which is what you are
Yeah.
claiming the men to be. For me, that is very frustrating and I think very disrespectful to everyone involved. We lost Bea.
Yeah. She'll be back. She'll be back. Nag-walk out siya. Nagalit siya. But
Galit siya. Same
why
here.
why do you guys think though that there's like a bigger hurdle there, Bea's back? Why is there a bigger hurdle for women? I mean, beyond just in the photography. Sorry, Bea. Photography world.
Bea.
Just kick me
Um,
out. I'm a woman, Sherry. I get it.
I know.
Put me back on.
You're
Just
out.
put me.
Hindi ka crusader dito, okay? So, okay, why do you feel like there's such a big hurdle for women in any profession as compared to men?
Opportunity. At the very beginning, we already don't get a lot of. I mean, like for example, Andrea said a lot of people are trying to explain to her what she already knows, or what she already chooses to do, and you know, if we already don't have the opportunity, we have to work under parameters that might not like benefit us. We might work for lesser pay, we might work for more exposure, we might work for all of these things just to get equal footing in a space that it shouldn't be like that. We don't have the privilege to do so, and that's where when you say we need to prove ourselves, we're already working more than what the standard is.
Yeah, we work twice as hard to be taken half as seriously.
And listen, our category, we work in fashion. We're the relatively dominant gender or sex in the industry. So technically, we're safe. But compared to the other categories, like let's say photojournalism, they have no support. I sat in a photojournalism like group, like get together. I think it was with Christine Chung and Wawi Navarosa. It was the stories I heard about women getting sexualized, harassed, not invited. They didn't feel safe. They didn't feel safe in a space where they wanted to work, and yet they still pushed through because they recognized that their voices mattered. It's very demeaning to hear a lot of these like comments that would either demean or gaslight women. So
I'm curious, Regine and Andrea, how would you have respected Canon to approach the situation? Obviously, not how they did it right now, but how would you have liked them to, I guess, make a really bad campaign, I don't know, forgivable?
Well, for me, like what Je said, I think that there needs to be an equal footing of women. To claim that there are no women of the same caliber is bogus. Either they didn't do the research, or they really think of us as lesser. So if you want to solve that problem, why don't you sponsor a new wave of artists that you feel like you can foster? Because isn't that the point of ambassadorship? Isn't that the point of support? Because, okay, to be completely honest, a lot of the camera brands out there right now are all excellent. So it's a matter of who are they supporting? What kind of programs do they offer? Because the cameras are great. They're all great.
Yeah.
So, right, what makes you different? What kind of company value do you support? And for me, I really think that a company that can support women or diverse voices is the best way to go about it. So I think for me, Canon should consider supporting more artists of every like category, because everyone's voice matters. That's my take.
And building off what Regine said, that's actually the main. That is actually the main insight, and that's basically the first thing. So when it comes to PR and marketing and communications, that's what me and my partners really advocate for. Is we have to understand the market. We have to understand what is going on right now, and right now it's really diversity, inclusivity, because people will not. Like what you said, Regine, you won't support a brand if this certain brand doesn't support, like for example, the LGBTs, women. They don't give voices to Asian or Asians in general or stuff like that. And it's really a big factor when it comes to choosing a brand for you, because you won't like for example makeup, you won't support cosmetic line that tests on animals, right? That's not cruelty free or all that. So it goes the same with the likes of Canon. There's so many brands out there. Sony's doing amazing, Nikon, Fuji, all amazing. But it really boils down to if this brand is aligned with your principles, and if it's not, then you go to the next one. It's the same. It's the same concept. It points and shoots. It goes on manual. You can plug it in anywhere, diba? And it really boils down to that. And if Canon Philippines doesn't realize this, because I did a little research on Canon US, Canon Global, and the roster, Lindsay Adler is their front runner. Amazing.
Oh, I love her.
Right? And
I love her.
if you that's why I'm singling out Canon Philippines. Na parang if Canon Philippines think that this issue will not affect them in the bottom line, it will, because their market is the Gen Z. They are the future creatives of this country, right? They will be your future photographers, and these kids don't buy brands because it's branded. They buy brand. They support brands because it's
of the values the brand fosters.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's what the brand puts. Exactly. So that's what they look for now, and that's what I always tell my clients, that this is what they're looking for now. They are looking for brands that identify with them, not only benefit wise.
Yeah.
It has to be all aligned: the benefit, the functionality, and the emotional side of the brand. And if
Yeah.
the emotional side of the brand doesn't match, then they're really not gonna get. They're not really gonna get on board with it.
Right.
I think it's shocking that it's still on. And I would actually I'm taking a book from Kylie Jenner, because like she did this thing where she rebranded her cosmetics company and she just wiped out her entire Instagram page and just had one post. So why can't Canon do that? Just wipe. You've got like Canon Philippines. You've got like 2,000 posts. Wipe it out and start fresh. I think I don't know if I think sometimes brands don't know how to humble themselves because they're such a big corporation, and it's unfortunate that someone like Kylie can actually do something like that. But Canon, we'll keep that really bad design apology, by the way. I don't know.
Whoever
Yeah.
wrote that, my gosh.
Or the
Whoever-
graphics. My God,
But
ganda
honestly,
naman.
I also think na parang, I also commented, this is actually my comment on that post na parang, I honestly feel that they think that any press, good or bad, is still press. And right now in
Yeah,
2021,
yeah.
That's
that
old.
is
That's not
not.
true.
Old
No.
tactics
That
doesn't
is
work
not.
anymore.
That is some Mad Men 1980s shit.
Yeah.
Okay? It does not
It's
work
true.
that way. If
It
it's
doesn't
good
work
press,
anymore.
then it's good. If it's bad, then you're in trouble.
It's true.
Exactly.
Bad.
Mhm.
Because like
I mean,
it takes
yeah.
one viral tweet, only takes one viral post to destroy a brand. That is how sensitive the market is right now. In
The cancel
2021.
And it's
culture is
not a
quite
bad thing.
insane.
And it's not a
Yeah.
bad thing. Like how other people are making it out to be na we're just out here canceling a brand because
No,
we
they're
Because we
jealous or
feel
whatever.
like it? No.
Uh-oh. Or just because
Definitely. Well,
we're so sensitive and blah 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 and too woke. God.
yeah.
pawok.
You
I
know,
hate
I
that
think
line,
they
pawok.
confuse the idea of cancel culture with accountability, and right now what we're asking for is accountability. I think
Yeah.
like cancel culture, yeah, you know what? I don't always agree with it either, because then it doesn't give any, like, they can just move on with their lives and do nothing about it. But accountability means, hey, we really want to work with you to change. Because what kind of
Yeah.
world do you want to live in? Nah, okay, we'll get mad at you and then we'll move on and support the next. Okay, great. But then nobody improves. How can we fix that?
Exactly.
That is the biggest
That's
thing. We want to make sure, yeah, exactly, that we
that's
all
actually a
work
really
together.
with
Yeah.
cancel culture. Because I actually had this talk with a couple of influencer friends that I have about cancel culture, and
Mhm.
that's the main point. Like if you cancel someone, the next day it's done. But then how will this person, learn from their mistake without seeking accountability and seeking remedies for it? Diba? So it's just gonna
Yeah.
continue the cycle.
Yeah, it doesn't support anyone.
Accountability is
Yeah,
key.
but I think the difference though with with Canon being canceled is that they're not trying to remedy the situation versus
Yeah,
like when
we just wanted them to apologize properly
Yeah.
and
exactly
recognize that nagkamali sila.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna send this to Canon. I mean, honestly, someone needs to help them. But
Definitely.
yeah, because I
As-
think Nikon had like a similar campaign, I think 2017, where they released like a lineup of 30 plus male photographers. And I think it was on Twitter where they commented, and their response was like, oh, we invited female photographers, but they weren't able to attend. I was like, really? 32, like 30 plus male, and you invited female and they were just not able to come. I don't know. It sounds a
Bias.
bit crazy.
Can I say something?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so this is not a new thing in Philippine photography, clearly, right? There haven't been a lot of women photographers, and generally there are very few photojournalists, wedding, all of these things. We all have, there are very few of us. It was only recently, so we're about 10, 15 years ago, right? Even just like maybe in the last 10 years, there was an article on Esquire Philippines of like photojournalism roundtable talk, and it was all men. The editor was female, but because we have been so ingrained to see men as the standard, it was really hard to unlearn that and recognize that, hey, this isn't It doesn't work this way. And when they did feature women, it was photographs of the women and not photographs of their work. But the men got their work. And so why do we need to present ourselves instead of our work? You know what I mean? Like, why is there that disconnect? Now, I understand that Canon Philippines has had the same statement as Nikon unofficially, that they had asked other women photographers, but they couldn't commit. I mean, let's see if they have the same kind of offer that the other men also received. We can't know that because we're already so separated. We have no point of reference how much X and Y or Z are getting paid. And to be honest, the other two women photographers that they've had, Pilar Tuason, she's already with a different camera system, and I understand that Sarah Black is busy with her child. She won't be able to focus, I am assuming. I don't know if she had refused. I don't know if Jan Young was asked. I don't know who else they had contacted. But majority of the people that they have contacted are above 40. Jilson Tiu was the only one that was under 40. And he also recognized that that platform did not serve his work well. So it's not
Regine,
new.
Andrea and Je as well. I'm curious because in America, this was such a big thing about pay, depending on the man or woman. Do you think that male photographers get paid more than female photographers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
That
Yeah.
really breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Coming from
I mean,
campaigns and being
Yeah.
PRs.
yes.
Wow.
I have
Would
no way
you
to
would
know.
you would you say that it's quite a big gap?
Yes.
Mhm.
Like
What?
1000%, yes.
If you would peg a percentage by how big the gap is, how many more
Four
times the
times
men get
more.
paid?
Sorry, 4 times
Four.
more. Four
Four
times.
times more.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
That's
Yeah.
also bad.
Okay, so
Pretty high.
who do you think creates these boundaries and these gaps? Is it
People.
just a systemic thing? Is it just like our cultural thing? Is it because people allow it to happen? If you
I
would
think
pick a
it's
source,
I think it's a good mix of a systemic and cultural thing, and it's all inherited. Until now, we're still experiencing this type of discrepancies when it comes to um, pay ranges. But coming from someone who books photographers, books clients, and books creatives, um, I really really do advocate that the word nego in my I really hate the word nego. That's my I'm allergic to that word. And there's I think I can say it now, but I won't say the brand, but there's this one account that I had na they wanted to have a shoot, and um it was between two guys and two girls. And unfortunately, when I presented both options, um, they didn't say the word nego to the girls. And when it came to, but also, um, I don't know if it was like a caliber type of thing, but then in my opinion, they were batchmates. They're all batchmates. But for example, this person is charging 200,000. They would say, okay, fine, let's book them for this weekend. And the next weekend, this the female photographer is charging 200,000 also. Same scope of work, same quality of work, same caliber, same batch, same everything. Nego, can we nego? Do you think this person can work for like this, for like that? I was like, no. Where I will look for my savings. I will look for my savings, so you will be paid the same, like that. So
yeah.
I think it was I really think it's systemic and a cultural type of thing. And
Yeah.
moving forward, I guess, in my opinion, coming from someone who is usually sometimes in the position to book talents, I really make it a point and I really advocate, because I'm also a photographer and I also know how difficult it is to, it's not, being a photographer is not cheap.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
cheap.
It's
It's
not.
not cheap. It's
It's
really
not
not
at
cheap.
all.
The amount of work that you spend not only shooting but also editing your photos, color correcting them, putting them in post, and
Pre-production,
diba?
meetings,
Reading
negotiation.
it, then the revisions pad, the skin retouching. It's super not. It's not easy.
Yeah.
We enjoy it. We love it. We love the art, but it's not. It's definitely not easy. And coming from someone who, like what I said, is in a position to book creatives, I really advocate equal opportunities for everyone. If you're gonna pay this much for like this person, you have to pay this much person also for the same amount of work and money. You know.
Right. So we are in our third part. You already touched on it a bit, Je, on how do you end the cycle. So not a lot of people are like you, Je, who would advocate for equal pay, right? So
Yeah.
how do we stop this? Let's start with our personal lives though. How can we stop inequality in our personal lives before we jump to our professional lives?
Mm.
It's tough. Everyone's like, hmm.
Ito yung exam eh. Huh.
It's a beast, really. I mean, now that you
Mhm.
talk about it, and then, Jay, like obviously you have that keen eye on being like, oh no, that you can get the savings somewhere else, right? But or in personal lives as well, you're more aware, but other people are not. How would you say?
Some people don't
Yeah,
care. Yeah.
yeah,
I think we need to speak up.
yeah,
Mm.
And like I know it's hard because sometimes it feels na it's not safe to even.
Yeah.
But I feel like we have to remember na if we have to speak up for those people who cannot.
yeah.
Exactly. Those
Hmm.
especially speak up if we're given this type of platform. You definitely have to.
Yes.
New York is always right. If you see something, you say something.
Hmm.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, you speak up and make sure that your platform is used in the right manner also. And yeah, I mean, basically awareness of what's been going on and what has been going on and what is still currently going on, and having more calls to action for it. It's also, like you said, Andy, it's also very difficult because some people, coming from like a PR side, like brand side, some brands might call it radical thinking. Some brands might think it's let's not medyo outspoken this person. It's also a double-edged sword. But at the end of the day, if we don't speak what's on our mind and speak for ourselves and for other people, then who will?
Yeah,
Diba?
and then the next generation, alam mo yun, parang hindi pa rin maaayos for them.
Exactly.
Mm.
You know,
Exactly.
it also goes with voting. Who will take care of the Philippines if not us? So we need to register to
Please,
vote.
Guys,
yes,
please
please,
register. If there's
please.
something that you will take away from this other than our topic, register to
Exactly.
vote. And please, vote wisely naman. Makinig kayo sa nangyayari. Huwag kayo magbulag-bulagan. Vote wisely.
Nakakaloka nga. But like
Oo.
Regine and Andrea, how about you? Like, how about stopping it in your professional lives or personal lives if you would like to share that?
Um, for me, two parts, right? Part one would be addressing issues when they're happening on hand. Let's say somebody is misgendered, or there's like a sexist comment, or like something that's very misogynist. I mean, it's very easy to kind of like, ha ha ha, let's move on, because it protects us. Because like any type of negative conversation can be used against you. But we have to know that we have people that support us and protect us and can make sure that we're going to be okay, whether or not we use her voice. Um, so I think that whenever, like, let's say the situation with the Canon, um, I think it's important that it could have been very easily forgotten if it wasn't talked about. And so, kasi parang a lot of people are afraid to talk about brands or
Yeah,
afraid of losing opportunities. And
exactly.
I think it's really important to have like a backbone now more than ever. Before, I think that if you don't rock the boat, you're good. I don't think that works anymore. I think that having a voice makes you a lot more valuable. And the thing is, a
Yeah.
lot of people have very strong voices, so let's recognize that. And then another aspect for me, I think it's important to kind of connect with our fellow photographers of like every generation, like younger, older, get advice on how to rate yourself properly, understand how much things cost. You want to make sure that we are functioning in a way that helps us perform at our peak level, rather than we need to discount this because we need to get the job, we need to eat, we need to live. It's really important for us to know how much things cost, and so we don't step on each other's toes. We don't have any issues with that, and we are able to survive, because like you won't ask a discount from a doctor, really, or a lawyer. I mean, you could, but it's
Family
jahe.
doctor,
Why is
maybe.
jahe not happening with photographers? I've also learned that it's very important to know exactly what you're offering, so that you understand where you can have a little bit of give. Let's say you believe in what the product is, or for example, it's really hard for you to perform at this level, so you really have to stick to your rate. I think we need to have that understanding in order to protect ourselves. This is for everyone, but I think specifically for women, because we already get like the saddest example I have was, this was actually during our batch reunion, and I spoke to one of her classmates. They're asking me about photography, blah blah blah, and then they mentioned ex female photographer. I like working with her. I said, yeah, she's amazing. And then they said, yeah, because she's really cheap. And I was like that can't be the first thing that comes out of your mouth. It has to be
really
talented, and like the way she handles X, Y, and Z. But the first thing that they said was, we hire her because she's cheap. And then the second statement I got from another classmate was, we want to work with you, pero baka mahal ka na. Bakit? I'm sure mahal din kayo. So it's a very, you wouldn't say that to other men. So why do you say it? Why do you feel like it's okay? So it's a bit of a rant there, but that's from our own.
You can tell us more about who these are backstage. I'm curious.
I think it's good to just tell people your budget. Like, obviously, like, just be upfront. Sorry, like, there are certain things that people are very cheap with in this country. Certain things they don't want to pay for. But yeah, just be upfront. Like, this is how much I have. If they can't afford it, if it's not within the budget, then.
And I think we should all be able to talk about TF. Na hindi tayo nahihiya. Kasi diba, it's an industry thing na everyone doesn't want to talk about money. But lalo na in this industry, guys, sabihin na natin kung magkano yung TF natin para alam natin kung magkano talaga kaya na budget ni client.
Yeah, it'd be nice if the guys actually shared their PF.
And then everyone would know what the standard is. Because sometimes, hindi nila din, either hindi nila alam, or feeling nila kasi walang makakaalam na ganito yung binibigay nilang rate. Because we all don't talk about it. It's all very so hush-hush. So parang pag-usapan natin.
And also, it's also building up from this one, it's actually a conversation that I have with Kim all the time. There are some people who would, those I get hit by these sponsored ads na parang, a wedding package for 35,000 photography.
Oh my God, I saw that. I saw that.
Diba? So it's like, and with other photographers, na parang they would charge 5,000 pesos for 200 layouts for e-com.
Kaloka, sis.
Wow.
Wait, 5,000 layouts. Wait, I mean, I totally get that they want to get business and they want to get their foot in the door. At the same time, it's also a very dangerous practice for other photographers and other creatives, because brands would think that's a normal rate.
It's our role to educate the clients, to say that hey, these are our expenses. I'm sure we can meet somewhere, but these are non-negotiables. There's you really can't.
And also, as a client myself, also, and representing a client, I am in a privileged position to educate them that it doesn't work that way. It's hard. You just can't expect, like, wait, your budget's 30,000, but you want them to work for like 12 hours and shooting 200 girls. It's insane.
Wow.
that can happen. That has happened.
200 girls?
30,200
God.
girls.
Hindi naman yun. It was
It's a
it's not the
scam.
exact one. It's not the exact one, but I just made it an example, something like that. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely inhumane kind of.
I can't imagine. I did that like for an event na ganun karaming girls. I cannot imagine doing it for 30,000. I cannot. I
diba?
can't imagine na gagawin ko siya ever.
Mm.
Hindi
It's
ko ba-
insane.
Yeah.
One thing I really wish would be a better practice for the clients or people in marketing. I really wish, because I understand that whenever they work with a client, you already know your parameters, so you already know your budget. I think it's been commonplace to be like, hey, what is your rate for this one? But then a lot of the conversation is very incomplete. We don't know what we're working with. We can't give a quote if we don't know how many layouts. We don't know what the deliver.
I always ask what the
scope
budget.
of work.
Yes. Yeah, what the budget is.
It's really, it's frustrating to do this back and forth of like, having to find out more information to the point where it's like, okay, we've asked too many questions. I don't think we can move forward anymore. And it's happened where they would ask my rate and then they would just drop from the face of the earth. I would have to send a follow-up email. But that is a very specific Filipino thing. I have had emails from other countries where they say up front what they need, what their budget is. Are you available? Yes or no. Very straight to the point. We understand our parameters. This is the contract. Here, because a lot of the times, like a lot of the companies want to get a deal, they will play this game of not telling you everything until they will tell you in the end, oh, we need this, and you're like, whoa, we didn't discuss this. But sige na nga, I'm already trapped. And for a lot of women, I can't speak for everyone, but for a lot of women, it's very hard for them to say like, hey, we didn't negotiate this. Because they already don't have these opportunities to begin with. So we will take what we can get. I've had that experience as a younger working photographer here in the Philippines. I've learned that now, like, it's better to be clear, so we're all very, very happy with the result. But kawawa, especially for the ones that are still starting. They don't know. Na you need to you need to put your foot down. But this comes from the client's end. So it's very hard for us to change.
Yeah. So what are your tips for brands or companies to be more inclusive or be more considerate of how they, treat their male and female talents or creatives?
Clients. Like what I said, be very clear with what you need, or you can also consult with the people you're working with, being like, for example, hey, we want to do this. What are the things that we need to prepare? So it's not about, this is our budget, how can we make it look like this? When parang we're the ones adjusting to that idea, rather than like, hey, if this is your limitation, this is what we can produce for you. It's a small distinction, but I think it will really help everyone perform at their best when we know exactly what we're walking into. That is I think that will make it equal footing for everyone, not just women, but everyone. I think in photography. So that's kind of like my thing.
All right. So Bea.
Inclusive messaging on my end, I guess. For brands, read up on the trends. Make sure that you are set on the year 2021. That is my advice.
Not 1990 trends.
We are
Why
not in the
2K din daw eh?
Mad Men.
60s.
Why 2K din daw yung values?
And second advice is you should get me as a consultant so I can tell you all of these.
We will definitely run through your contact details later.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, jokes aside, drop the gender roles, and if this person is just basically an amazing human being, this person is an amazing chef, an amazing photographer, an amazing videographer. You don't need to put labels or genders on it. And basically that's it. Just keep up with the trends and make sure that all stakeholders are happy.
Yeah.
Speaking of trends, so a lot of brands now, naman are doing, women empowerment campaigns. But the problem with some of them is na they don't pay the women. I have
Mm.
gotten so many asks from, potential from brands or potential clients na, so we're having this all women campaign and we want women photographers, blah blah blah, all women team. And then biglang pagdating sa rate, sobrang baba. So if you really, parang, I just wish it wasn't just performative. And I wish brands really supported and valued women by giving them, one, good opportunities, and two, paying them properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
I love that. Like I just
Super.
echo that. Na parang it's really just respect, no matter what
Yeah.
your gender is, and yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's
I,
yeah.
yeah.
It's so
Go on.
surprising. Yeah. Go
Go
ahead,
on,
Je.
Jeff.
It really, yeah, exactly. It really boils down to respect
Mm.
to the creatives, the artists, the people that you tap, the people that you work with, your market. You respect your market. You respect your target market. Um,
Yeah.
your future buyers. Basically, that respect.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious because our show, we get to talk to a lot of young women that are educated, talented. Sometimes they're very insecure when it comes to love. They're insecure with how their career is going. From the three of you, you're very confident. What are maybe one line or something that you would advise them in communicating to not earn, sorry, that's a really bad way to put it, but to get respect? Because sometimes it's also poor communication. I think like for me, I've been put in a position where I couldn't say no when it really compromised my values. And a guy friend told me like you should be able to say no. And he kept pushing and pushing this for me to say no to the situation. I said no, it's not worth my time. But in hindsight, when I look back at that situation, I should have said something and pushed for it. But what are your thoughts on that and communicating exactly what you deserve or equal rights?
Miss
Maybe.
Universe.
I know, sorry, I had to ask because this is something I always hear that people can't say no, and I have had a hard time
Yeah.
to say no when I was
Same.
young. And now it's
Same.
like you learn that okay, these things I can't spend my time on. It's like, dating a red flag, right? You keep going for it. So I wonder with you guys, what have you learned to say? Even like saying no or writing an email or
Oh,
something interesting that women should um,
oh,
like for me, I learned how not to react right away because my initial reaction is either to say yes to
Say
please
yes.
people or yeah, that's pretty much. I love saying yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Shari, ikaw, mahilig ka naman mag-no sa akin.
Oh, also, I think no, I'm always so shy naman kasi to always say no. My ano is I'm not interested or another way of saying no, but I never ever straight out and say no. That's
Yeah.
kind of my thing. 'Cause yun nga, I guess I don't know, we're raised that way, not to say no, which isn't a good thing. Or I
yeah.
find another avenue to say no.
Yeah. That's a hard one.
Hmm.
This is
Mm-mm.
hard. This is hard. Like
Maybe just
one.
compare yourself to your younger self working to now. Because I think when you're
I
30, are we
Hmm.
all 30 here? Yeah, we are, right?
no,
20.
I'm 26.
Oh
No,
my
pagets.
gosh, you sound so mature.
I'm 31,
Sorry.
okay.
I am
Yeah,
30, turning
bye-bye.
32. But basically, we've learned a lot since we were probably 18, right?
Yeah.
Compared to yourself to 18 to now.
I think for me, to anyone, I guess, have everything in writing. That is an
Oh,
important part of life. If I
Mm.
would tell myself when did I start? My 18, 7, or my 21-year-old self, have everything in writing. Um, yes, it is very difficult to say no because honestly, actually, it's ingrained in my head. Na parang if I say no, then I might not get the same opportunity next time.
mm,
Mm-mm.
So it's really such a double-edged sword. But then knowing what I know now, um, if you don't you if there is no open door, you create a door for yourself. Make sure that you build one, open it, and enter that door. There will always be that next opportunity for you, and um, saying no isn't saying no essentially isn't a bad thing if it is not a good fit for you. If it doesn't align with your personality or your principles, then it's okay to say no, because there will always be a next time.
Totoo.
Mm.
When I
I
was
like that.
younger then also, not
Yeah.
even younger, like even just last year, I parang when clients would get me, sometimes I would be guilt tripped into saying yes to whatever, for example,
Mm.
rate they're giving me. Tapos sobrang daming work. But now na-realize ko na in those shoots, I never actually really give my best. Because
Mm.
in my mind, I'm always like, oh, ito lang naman bayad dito eh. So in the end,
Mm.
no one really wins because okay, they were able to hire me for, this smaller rate, but they don't get the quality that they would have expected from me, whether they know it or not. But ako, I know it na I'm not performing at my 100% because
Yeah.
ang liit ng tingin ko dun sa project. So, and
Yeah.
then the amount of stress na when there is revisions, etc. And in my mind, it's just, ay, ganun lang naman yung bayad sa akin, ba't ko naman gagawin yun? So, I really end up resenting the client and the work that I'm doing. And I feel like that really put me in a bad headspace as a creative. And so now, when I really cannot work with the rate na given to me with the amount or with the complexity of the project, I am really able to say na unfortunately I cannot work blah 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 with blah 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 because I respect myself and I
Mm.
respect my client enough that I want to give my 100% and I can only do that if I am paid well or
Yeah. Mm-mm.
within, 'di ba? Parang ganon.
Yeah, and your motivation. I like what you said that you're not the same in those shoots versus like a shoot that you're paid right for. And
Yeah.
yeah, people don't
Alam ko
understand
na,
that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to make tamad work and I hate doing it and sometimes I know that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And so
You
I don't
you
want to
can't
keep
help
doing it.
yourself. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
It's the type of work na you just want to get it over with. Like, you don't have
Oo.
love for it.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
not.
Oo.
job.
Yeah, it's a
Gusto ko
job.
na mag-pack up.
Oh,
Kakapasok pa lang. Gusto
oo
ko
nga. I was
pa.
like, bless.
Yeah.
Tapusin niyo to. So before
Regine,
Bea,
sorry. Regine,
oh yeah.
I'm curious about yourself, like your younger self to versus how you are now. Um, in your website, I saw that you've done so much work. And I think even in our batch or reunion, they would see that, they would probably want to approach you about that. What can you advise for like young people that are just starting out? In personal life, like dating life and work, what is the one thing that you learned to
Oh my God, explore your options. but
Tama
also,
lang.
but also, I think I have
Dating
to
and
agree
work.
with everyone. Take jobs that really like empower you, either if it's either like emotionally or like socially or financially. So you get really excited and you really believe in what you produce. I also think that I agree with Je, like you have to get everything in writing. It protects
Mm.
you and the client. Also, like, you know, like do your research on how to help yourself perform at your best, and that's really like producing work that is closest to the kind of work that you want to do, so that's investing in yourself. Also, really yeah, saying yes to jobs that are great and saying no to jobs that are better suited for other people. Like I agree, there are some jobs that I feel like might not be in my wheelhouse. I think a younger self would have been scared to let go of this opportunity, but I think
Mm.
in this space, it's a much better approach to be like, hey, listen, this might not be my wheelhouse, but I know X, Y, and Z are really, really good at this. For
Yeah.
example, like let's say somebody approached me for architecture. Um, I'm really not an architecture photographer. And if it's a project that I feel like aligns similarly with what I'm exploring, yes, absolutely. But if not, then I know people that do it well. And I think this helps everyone understand how to perform at their best. Everyone gets the projects that really is perfect. Like everyone is happy. Everyone walks away happy. But I think that's like the producer slash casting director side of me that says like, hey, let's align everyone with the right projects because then everyone's going to walk away happy. So for
Same
me,
when people try to get me for like, product or food. And I'm always like, I'm not the best at that. But like I know Gabby or Renzo who can do it better than me.
Yeah.
Diba?
and I think because you want to get somebody that's excited and happy about it. I think that's just like that's how we are in life. And I think that if we can give those opportunities either for people that really love it or it's something you want to explore, then you weigh your risks or you weigh your it's just like any job. But then I say we were raised with this idea and we can't say no, we shouldn't say no. But it will get like it's about respect, diba? So when you say no, that means you're respecting yourself, your client, and everyone involved. When you feel like it is not the right fit, and also back up your files and label them properly. Yun lang.
Guys,
I like it.
the youngins, please invest in a good HD. Maybe lacy would be good, like that.
Okay.
I have many hard drives
That's
around my space.
We need that. Shari, we need that. We're
no
creatives
issue.
for the show.
To all you thriving women. It's really great that Regine, Andrea, and Je, I mean, especially Regine and Andrea, you guys are thriving women in a very male-dominated industry. And you know what? Good job, guys. But I mean, there are steps that we have to take to ensure that more women can thrive in industries that are male-dominated. So, Bea, take it away. We are towards the end of our
Yeah,
conversation.
of course. Like, I think this is such an important topic. I mean, people really love sometimes the dating away topic, but sometimes this whole equality is whatever your it's important because your equality at work has to translate your equality in your personal life and the whole thing. Like, you cannot be unhappy in one part and then be happy in the other. Like, I think it's not good long term, basically. And so we always feel like we're being schooled here, and particularly today because we have three amazing creatives. And Shari, I want to know what your takeaway is for today.
My main takeaway for the day is speak up. Speak up for yourself and speak up for others. I mean, like Regine and Andrea, they're both in a position that they can speak up for other women and they can speak up for new photographers. So I think if you're in that position, and same with Je, if you're in that position, then you have enough influence to switch things towards the better, then do it. I think that's my main takeaway. How about you, Bea?
I think for me, like, I'm gonna go on the business side because please learn how to do a P&L and if you're a company, and then that way you know how to equally pay the people that are gonna be responsible for whatever you're trying to do. And also for individuals, like, have a life P&L. How are you gonna survive your month and month so that you know exactly what to charge? And since I love food, I'm not because I'm gonna cook for someone, but I think I'm gonna do a food analogy, Shari. Like, a piece of toast. Like, if you put Nutella in it, everyone loves Nutella. I am Nutella in this situation. Don't spread yourself too thin. Like, slather it up. Basically, if you are too thinly spread, like if you're accepting all the opportunities and just being everywhere, it's not gonna work for you. So don't spread yourself too thin. Yeah. Shari,
I love food analogies.
Hindi ko natutuwa sa analogy ko. Pinag-isipan ko yan.
Like, it's spreading yourself too thin kasi sometimes especially when you're in a world like Regina and Jason, you kind of end up spreading yourself too thin because you're not sure when the next opportunity will come. So sometimes you have to understand that privilege is not for everybody. But yes, I like your Nutella analogy. I think nagutom nga ako.
Whatever you want, like monai and cheese, whatever you choose.
So
go on.
Again, thank you all three of you, Andrea, Regine, and Je. Thank you so much. If people want to contact you, how should they? Please share with our listeners. There they are, right down there.
I'm very confused with this.
Oh, I love it.
Ayan. So for our listeners, it's Andrea Beldua on Instagram, Je Villaroman on Instagram also, and Regine David. So guys, take your pick. They're all great. Labo, take your pick. And then there's me and Bea. Slide in. Labo, we can provide whatever need you want. Parang pangit nun. No.
Gusto, mamaya
Teka lang.
may humingi sa atin ng mga
I know.
favors na hindi natin kayang i-fulfill.
Erase ko yun. Okay, so thank you
Yeah.
again, guys. Thank
Wait,
you
guys,
so
can I
much.
screen cap? Can I have a photo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course, of course.
Okay.
Nag-ayos ng buhok.
Yeah, before, and then I will wrap up before we
Okay,
go.
1, 2, 3. Alan.
And yeah, I guess thank you so much, like really for
Thank
sharing your
you.
insights. I think it's so good that people learn from you and then hopefully they can apply it. Sometimes our girls don't listen, but please reach out to us for a follow-up conversation. So guys, let us quench your thirst for knowledge by subscribing to our YouTube channel and submit. Okay, well, babalik na naman tayo sa love and dating, love problems and milestones to our website, thirstyand30.club. And if you want more topics like this, please let us know since we're here to help you succeed all around your life. And we also have a weekly newsletter sent every Thursday to help you be better at your relationships. It's on thirsty30.substack.com because you cannot succeed in your career without being in a good space in your mental state. And it's really a modern day guide for women who want to be smarter, saner, and my favorite, huwag kayo mabudol in work and your personal life. So there.
Yes. So
Yeah.
thank you, everybody, and good night to everybody except Canon
Thank you.
Philippines. Stay thirsty.
Canon, wake up! Gising pa kami. You want to mess with us. Happy to help you. Delete all your. I think you need to be like you have to delete each post.
Overhaul.
You need
Yeah.
us to delete your post. Just give us access. We'll do it for you. So
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. So, stay thirsty, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
And 30.